Yeah, from an individual standpoint, I'm pretty happy that I was able to find a stretch of games, albeit, our captain getting injured, but I'm happy that I have those experiences under my belt. Also, with CCL, I'm really happy that we were able to advance and I was able to play an important role in that. So there are a lot of positive takeaways, like you said, but I think the most important thing is that I have a large enough body of work now to move forward and improve and, look back on those games and really find areas that I need to work on. And so I'm really looking forward to that in the off season, enjoying some time off, but then getting right back after it and looking to make a difference again next year.
Do you expect maybe a loan deal back to maybe one of the Red Bull clubs outside of, in Europe, excuse me?
I haven't spoken to Jesse or Ali about that at all, but my main focus is New York Red Bulls. This is a great club, my hometown club, and hopefully things will work out here.
I'm sure they've talked to you throughout the course of the seasons. What your role is going forward? Obviously, you got an increased role this year. Have they talked to you about your role moving forward here?
Yep. We have yet to really talk. It's been a kind of a crazy offseason already. We have a little more time than we thought we would, being that we got knocked out of playoffs last week. So I think the club is still working on sorting things out. And so I'm not sure when I'll speak to them about things going forward. But I do know that, this year was great for me. And from training to games, I felt like I've really improved, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to play a big part in this club going forward.
What, another year like this year, would you be content with that, or do you want more minutes on the first team and trying to break through?
No, I think at my age, I'm looking to continue to build off of this season. I'm going into my third year as a professional, so it's interesting with the whole college dynamic. You start a little later than pretty much everywhere in the world, and even though it's my going into my third year as a pro, it is time for me to continue to establish myself and play a more important role. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm just going to work hard, keep my head down, and hope for the best, but we'll see what happens.
Emotionally, how much of this past series do you take with you into the offseason? Do you try to move on from it, or do you use it going into 2017?
Yeah, it's hard to say right now. For me, it still hurts. I didn't even play in the series, but I know how much we all invested in this season and into the playoffs, and we had thought we prepared enough for this game, but clearly there are some things that we need to improve on, and it hurts a lot right now, and I think that's going to be a feeling that I'll hold on to for a few weeks. But it's important to let that go and rebuild and reevaluate things and go from there. And so I'm hoping that come preseason it's completely in the past and we've learned our lesson, and we're going to use that to have a great 2017 season.
How frustrating was it not to play in the decisive series? As an athlete, as a professional athlete.
Yeah, I think if you're content being on the bench, then you're in the wrong profession, and obviously I would want to play, but at the same time we have, in my opinion, three of the best midfielders in the league, and it's hard for a young player like me to break through because those guys have done so well, especially the past 2 years. And to be completely honest, I'm happy with how things have unraveled these past 2 years. I feel like I've grown a lot because of them, because of the staff, and I'm very thankful for all those opportunities. And I'm hoping things will work themselves out going forward. But like I said, I'm really grateful for all these experiences I've had these past 2 years.
As a young player, what goes through your head when you see comments from Ignacio Piatti saying you guys are a good regular season team, but during the past years you've shown you're not a good postseason team?
To be honest, I think that he earned the right to say whatever he wants to say. He did well that last game, and so it's hard for me to really, combat that statement. What I will say is that I disagree completely, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And I know what kind of group we have, and I'm really proud to be a part of this group with these guys, and I wouldn't want it to be any different in terms of, the personnel that's with the club, because I feel fully supported and I love showing up every day with those guys.
Obviously, you're just coming off an emotional exit in the playoffs, but you're going to have to ratchet that back up in February, CONCACAF Champions League in the quarterfinals. How are you going to be yourself preparing for that one?
Yeah, so I think, I've like I said, I've only been a pro for going on 2 years now, and I've only had one off season. So I think it is a little different considering the circumstances, and CCL is something that we're extremely that's extremely important to us. And so we touched on it a little bit in our team meeting this morning, but it's important that all of us come in prepared, in shape. We have to ramp things up a little earlier this year compared to last, and so I'm looking forward that I want to be back on the field. All the guys want to be back on the field as soon as possible, and this gives us a really competitive game against a really good team early on in the season, and hopefully that'll also help us going into the regular season.
When you look at these last 2 years, obviously very strong regular season, fall in the playoffs. Do you find a commonality there in the way that it falls apart? Is it something in the mentality, or what can you point to that maybe there's something in common there?
For me, being a young player in this league, with a little experience under my belt, I think I'm starting to realize how different playoffs is than the regular season. Regular season is extremely important to us. I think you can tell by the team we put out week in, week out, and how we approach every single game and how much we invest in every single regular season game. But when come playoff time, it's a completely different animal, and I'm starting to realize that two playoffs under my belt now, and so I think that's something that as a young player, as a homegrown guy, with other young players in the locker room, that's something that we have to realize going forward, that in the future we have to understand the importance of each and every play in the playoffs and how that will affect the series. And you watch Champions League and home and away legs all the time, but to actually be a part of it, you realize the significance of each moment.